And I was like, all right, let's move on. Yeah. So we're just grateful for the precedents that you've set with the law firm and making families a priority.
I think if we don't, the reason why we're having this conversation is if we don't talk about it, we can't make it any better, right?
Right, yeah.
That in which we don't acknowledge, we cannot change. And so we're able to do that and still be profitable, right? We still get to keep the humanity of our office and appreciate that your mothers and wives and girlfriends and women and all those things that make life and still make a living, right? We're all still profitable. I didn't have to not take a paycheck for you to go to your, this is all possible. And I think a lot of times business people think that that's not the reality of life, but it really is. It really is.
Well, and I think also to be kind of a voice, kind of like Sharde was saying, of no, women are needed in the legal field. And yes, you can do this. And you did it with a new baby and being pregnant. And, I think it's also to be kind of a voice of like, see, this can be done. You can do it. You can push forward. We need you. We need female attorneys. Stick it out type of thing.
Stick it out. The women's voices matter, right? I mean, we're underrepresented, and it literally breaks my heart. My nieces, and all the little girls in my life, and y'all have probably figured this out, I give them a lot of like female empowerment gifts. I bought out Judge Barbie, like I bought them out and give them to all the little girls that I know in my life. And for them, I buy them these little shirts that says, "Forget princess, you can call me your honor." And it's got like all the female Supreme Court justices on it. And so like I think Ruth Bader Ginsburg said it best, when will there be enough women on the Supreme Court when there's 9? Because no one batted an eye when there were 9 men on there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and going back to kind of the statistics that were provided, more than half of law students are female, but they're not being retained and they're dropping way down in actual law firms. Why do you think that is?
I think probably a lot of them give up. Like Sharde had her moments where she wanted to give up more than once. I mean, she talked about it in law school and then again as practicing. And I think that the answer, so many women before us have fought harder and endured worse things than us now to get to this point where we're complaining about these things that we are today, and hopefully they get better. And I think that gets better by women sticking it out, because look how Amy stuck it out and helped Sharde and then helped me, so I didn't even have to experience what Sharde experienced. And then hopefully I can pass that on to the next woman who follows. And if we all just kind of help each other, because it is rare, I've worked other jobs before where, as a woman, when you're being looked down on, you can feel it almost instantly. I mean, you can feel it over telephone.
Right, yeah.
And for me to, in other jobs, to have to explain, like, no, this happened, and I know it's because I'm a woman. We don't have to explain that to Amy. She just like, yeah, I get it. That's messed up. And so for women just to be able to relate to each other on that level and help each other navigate those situations and so it gets better for everybody, I think we all really have to, and we shouldn't have to push through those moments.
Right.
That we shouldn't even be in those situations, but we're not even close to where we should be. And we're all going to have to keep sticking it out and keep fighting and keep looking for the Shardes sitting in the wrong spot and introducing the new girl as this is a lawyer, this is who she is.
Yeah.
And just kind of carrying each other so we can all get better.
Yeah. Would you say you've noticed a change since when you started to now, even a slight change in accepting female lawyers?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not where it needs to be, but it's gotten better.
Yeah.
I think a big part of why women don't continue the practice of law is also because they're mothers and they don't have bosses like Amy and Justin who say, no, you will be at your baby's shots and you will be front and row when you're doing the Seussical musical, right?
Yeah. You got to choose, right? Family or work.
And it shouldn't be a choice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of like what makes us so freaking good at what we do. You know what I mean? It's that passion of like the mama bear in us or whatever. It's like you shouldn't have to choose. You can have all the, we can do all those things. You know what I mean? I can still be a great, competent, ass-kicking lawyer and a mom at the same time. They're not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, I've had conversations with two 2 women who are mothers who want to go to law school and they don't know if they can do it. And I always tell the story of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who had 2 children and a husband with cancer, and she did his homework and her homework.
Yeah.
And became a Supreme Court justice. So I'm always like, if Ruth can do it, I mean, we can do it.
got
and
this,
now,
boo.
if Sharde can do it,
That's
we
right.
have her in the office. You know, go talk to Sharde and have her explain. You know, it's going to be way harder, but you can absolutely do it, and probably do it better than all the men in your class.
Way better.
Well, and that kind of, brings me to my next kind of question. Were there women, kind of famous attorneys or just women that maybe that inspired you guys to become female attorneys?
I mean, I wouldn't say they inspired me to become an attorney, but they inspired me to keep being an attorney. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Big fan. Her story of how she helped her husband while he was going to his classes and hers, taking his notes, doing his homework, helping him, it can be done, or watching Gloria Allred fight for women victims of sexual assault and harassment and stand up and say that's not okay. Or, Judge Childs, who is getting ready to be on the Court of Appeals, federal court judge, who is, if you've ever watched her speak, she does these great symposiums and stuff about domestic violence situations and laws and how to help women and all. Yes, that's what keeps the light under you and the fire in your belly. When you see other women not just doing it, but doing it really well, and inspiring us to all to raise the bar.
Trying to keep up.
Yeah.
But also not even famous women.
Right.
Yeah.
Just even local women in our county. You see what they're doing. I know Amy, but there's a network of women lawyers.
Amazing lawyers.
And we all sort of, and I don't know how recent it's been. It wasn't there when I first started. I think it was brewing. But even statewide now, there's a network of women lawyers who are really just helping each other and helping carry each other and that kind of stuff. And those women inspire me all the time.
Yeah.
I tell you, Jennifer Wilson, she's our retired Myrtle Beach municipal judge. I babysat her kids when they were younger, and she's an attorney and was married
Total
at that
badass.
time.
Total badass.
At that time, she was married to an attorney as well. And so here I was, this little girl keeping their kids in their very lovely home. And I saw them and I said, I want that.
Yeah.
And she looked like you.
I want that. What do you do?
Yeah.
And she sat down and she talked to me and was like, this is what I do. And this was my education. And this is the type of law I practice.
Wow.
And I'll say
That's
this,
awesome.
she wrote my recommendation letters for law school, for legal positions afterwards. She did my character and fitness for the bar. And here's this person who's always just kept this steady guiding hand. And
Love that.
She's not in anybody's national news, but she was right here, inspiring me. And I don't even know if she knew it.
I love
She was
that.
always so good to me. She was always so good to me. She was always the first one to congratulate me on a big verdict, and to see the things, and not even just the big things, the little things too, and always lifting other women up. And we don't get that very often,
Yeah.
So it's exciting
Yeah.
when you get to see it up close and personal.
When life gets ugly, justice is